Hello, y'all. This is Oracle of the Tides. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. If you know me, you know I pop up when the spirit moves me. But I did say I was going to be a lot more consistent. I just want y'all to take a moment to settle with the last message, though. It's been like a few days now. All right. Let's see what Spirit has to share with us. What is the message? Please take what works, but do not make your spirit. Oh, shit. Look at that. Nurturing possibilities. Don't try to make your spirit fit into boxes that, you know, it's screaming at you to be like, please stop. Nourish possibilities. Bottom of the deck. Ooh, feeling left out, walked away, left out in a cold, basically. Oh man, someone hoping for possibilities. They want nurturing, but you have to nurture yourself. Self-growth, self-focus, and finding yourself. That is the key. Literally, that is the key. You know, someone wants someone else to do the work for them. Someone's like, please heal me. I want you to heal me. I want you to heal me. And you're mistaking that need for their love as something that's genuine love, and you need to fix yourself. That's why you feel left out of the cold. You know, that's why you feel like you've been abandoned. You're focusing on possibilities, but sometimes people can be like delusional in a way. Well, we love a nice healthy delusion. You know, sometimes you gotta fool yourself. There's spectrums, but like some people are, you know, when we've all been there and guilty of it, like, you know, oh, you're looking at, you know, sunshine and, you know, look off into the sunset, all the possibilities, and take a risk and free spirit, and that's beautiful and everything, but at the same time, how much are you putting on that other person versus you doing your own work? They are free spirit, they're adventurous, you know. The clock goes both ways. It goes hand in hand. This ties in with a person who is looking outside themselves for nurturing, and they're possibly looking at a person who looks like they will provide all the answers and looks like, you know, we will be together and you can fix me type of energy, you know, where this person is just like, I'm off into my own nourishment. They are focusing, but at the end of it all, both parties, all parties, whether it's monogamous or polyamorous, you and that person, him and him, her and her, his and her, whatever the case may be, no judgment here. Self-growth, self-focus, and soul finding. Those are the keys. Those are the building blocks, all right, to happiness. Let's see the top of the deck. Bluff, mask, pretending. Someone is assuming that someone else is wearing a mask and they don't want to see what it is for what it is. You know, they're not wearing a mask. I think, you know, it could be that person that's pretending. They're pretending and thinking as if everything's okay, everything is fine, when there's a lot of work to be done. And I think also, and this is just like, I want to be gentle, but also I want to be like, hey, you know, how long can you wear your own mask and be like, everything's okay, everything is fine? You know, sometimes you need that extra push to be like, you know what, okay, it's time for me to dig deep and face these issues and problems and not wear a mask and be in such a delusion where it's like, and I understand you fake it to them, you make it, but there's a difference between like, okay, I'm pushing forward to fake it to it and make it, I'm not completely dissociating from it, versus like, there's a fire burning behind you and you're just like eating ice cream, like everything's okay, and wondering why the other person is in their energy nourishing, because they're, you know, they're ahead and they're looking back at like, what is going on, but all you see is, oh, all these, it's, you know what I'm saying, to you it makes sense, but when you step outside yourself, that person is like, what the hell is going on, you know? Let's see what else. Message. I'm gonna be probably, I'll either stick with this deck or multiple decks, but you know, spirit is in a spirit. Okay. Ooh, look at this. Dishonest, deception, trickery, elusive. Someone doesn't want to believe something, or someone wants to make somebody the bad guy is what I'm picking up. But are you the bad guy? Yeah, trapped. Someone wants to. Someone doesn't want to take accountability. Someone, I feel like there's another card. Conflict. Yeah, differences, clashing, incompatible. Yeah. Someone wants to make somebody else the bad guy, but ooh, it's truth. Ooh, excuse me. They're trapped in their own stuff. They're that party's trapped, or you're the one that's trapped. You're in conflict, and like you're seeing one way, they're seeing one way. You see incompatibility, differences, clashing. If you're not equally yoked, you're not equally yoked. You can't force someone to be equally yoked if they're not resonating. And the same thing is kind of like you have to take a few step backs and see, would you date yourself? Would you do business with yourself? Because it's not all about love here. This is also compatibility when it comes to work. Like, who are you? You want to do all the things, but are they in alignment, with what you're doing? Let's see another. Ooh, chemistry. All right, attraction. Let's get a follow-up on that from who, what, when. I put that over the nourish card, so that sells like self. Ecstasy. Look at that. Chasing thrills, excitement, good times. I said chasing self. That was the one over nourishment. Someone that is in their own. Someone is feeling themselves. They are, look, bottom of the deck. They are committed, baby. Someone is committed to themselves. And someone wants you to be committed to yourself. Or you could be that person who has finally reached that, nourishment in your life. The chemistry is not outside of yourself. It's in within. It's like you're a lotus blooming, a phoenix rising, a different type of like ecstasy in yourself, which is ironic, which was the next card of yourself, good times. And it's not escapism. It's thoroughly feeling like I survived this era of transformation, but like you sat with it, you nourished it in your body, you thoroughly took your time consuming every layer of yourself, and all your emotions, and where the triggers and traumas are, and what do you want and what do you don't want, and you are full. The meat has been filling and now you have arisen, and the chemistry, like I said, is within, and that makes you magnetic. Nothing is more sexier than a person that knows themselves, and they're in their energy. To outside forces, it might seem like they're chasing dreams, but they are chasing themselves. They're excited about life. They're excited about journey, but happy and excited about life, because this person, whether you're looking at another person or it is you, it's like that final shed, caterpillar to a butterfly, just like that final layer, that final transformation where you've gone through all of the phases, and now you're in king status or queen status, or whatever status you want to do, where you are now ready to rule your domain. Okay, someone is ready to rule their own domain. I feel like running. Somebody's ghosting. Somebody's disappeared. Let's see. Let's get confirmation. The next one, rejection. So it could be that obscurity. Yeah, obscurity, mystery, secrets. It will come out. Sometimes people prides are hurt, and sometimes people just need to chill, and it's not all about the other person. A lot of times people work. This one fell out. One day, look at that. Someday, somewhere, another time. Baby, sometimes it's about timing. And what was I about to say? I just lost train of thought of my own self. Sometimes it's not about other people. Sometimes it's like, hey, when someone's like, it's not about you. I really need to take a moment, take a step back, look at myself, check my emotions, It could be like, yeah, I'm gonna be mad for a minute, but I need this moment of solitude to be alone, and I may not understand all this, but this is what I need to do. Sometimes a rejection is a blessing, but I'm getting a lot of hurt, and for some, it's a process. It'll take time, like one day, and it seems to be like, oh, someday, somewhere, another time, Be joyful of the present before there is no future, is what I want to say. And it is okay and it's perfectly fine to feel what you feel and digest it. But also keep in mind, be grateful of the present before you lose your future. And you look back and be like, damn, something someone told me at my job, and it was like a whole message. It says you can't, once you give something away, you can't get it back, you know. And like, it was just the gravity of how he said it, you toss it away, you can't get it, you can't guarantee you're going to get back the same version of your experience. You're not going to guarantee you're going to get the same version of somebody else, and somebody else can't guarantee they're going to get the same version of you, especially if you shed some skin. Like, we just got out of the year of the snake. That's about shedding skin. So you're going to leave people behind, and people who have trouble shedding that last piece of skin, or have pride or ego, or they feel like, I don't want to, hear this or whatever, they're going to be stuck in the same loop. And that's kind of a hell, until we liberate ourselves. And we've all done it, we were looking for a savior. We want someone to be that, push or whatever. But, sometimes what if there's not? How do you navigate? How do you become the master mason of your own reality? And I mean that in the sense of, like, blacksmith, and, what you're going to do. Like, you, first of all, belong to you before anyone else. You, at the end of the day, there's no bump beds and caskets. You at the end of the day have to find, how do you feed yourself? How do you get up and walk? How do you clothe? The same thing with when it comes to your magic, your money, your mind, your spirit, And I'm not saying this to be, harsh, but I feel like we're just in another yet New Year's, and it's such an important transformative time. And I really want to, what's on the bottom of the deck? Healing. Look at that, because I was feeling something. Releasing, purifying, cleansing, taking that time. There's going to be some resistance. I feel like there's some resistance from certain parts of the collective, and it may be like that. I'm also picking up kind of like a bratty energy. And it's going to take some time. I'm picking up something with March. March. Heavy on the March energy. March 23rd. Something about March 23rd, March 18th, March 23rd, maybe March 24th, close to it, but heavy on March 23rd. That could be someone's birthday, or when something is about to change, or, you can keep that in mind, but don't be so hyper-focused on that date that you're not living and you're not actually doing your work within. But, sometimes when you're not, you want to heal and the universe forces you here and you're still resisting from it, or you're not in the space to hear, or you have your eyes but you really don't have your eyes to see, and all these other different senses, because I can speak from experience. You think you're good, and then the universe will be like, oh, but are you really? Let's rip that layer off a bit more. And it's like, sometimes when I feel like when a person, I'm feeling like, the collectives are like in their most brat energy. I'm really picking up brat energy, or like stubborn brat energy, is when another one, you're going to meet your match. Someone is going to be a mirror of yourself, heavy on that, and they're going to be like, damn, my shit stink. First of all, they're going to have a reaction of like, no, that's not me. But then they're going to realize, damn, before, in a blink of an eye, I'm picking up in a blink of an eye, you'll be like, damn, this was like literally a mirror of me, my karma, and this was me, and I have to go back and look at some things, And when you do reach that, my congratulations, man. Yes, we've all been there. One more ball on the deck. Look, realization. Yep. Awakening, understanding, epiphanies. Need I say more? I was gonna pick up some more the other decks, but you know what? I think I'm gonna end it like that. Thank you for sitting with me. As always, I'm candid. Just remember, the tides come and go. Let it wash over you. This is a timeless reading, and don't try to make it fit. And if it resonates with you, or someone that resonates, pay it forward. I pray success over you. I pray healing. I pray patience with yourself, and understanding. And I, pray discernment. All right. Yeah.